Today I want to talk about drunk DJs, dealing with hecklers, and being creative. This is Share the Knowledge.
For the last 22 years, I've been rocking stages, playing in clubs, and having a lot of fun as a DJ and turntablist, and I've seen and learned a lot. Now it's time for me to share that knowledge by answering the questions that can help you become a better DJ. I'm djTLM, and this is Share the Knowledge.
Guys, welcome back to Share the Knowledge. This is episode 11. I'm djTLM, and you're watching djTLMtv, or you tune into the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes, and this is the show where I answer your questions. If you want to ask me a question for a future episode, just go to Snapchat, Twitter, or Instagram, djTLM, at the hashtag Share the Knowledge, and ask me anything. So the first question is from Zealous Technician, and the question today is, do you think it's okay for a DJ to drink or be under the influence before a set? What's your take on this? All right, now, of course, a DJ's job is a little bit different than, for instance, an office job, because if you're working in an office, you will be expected not to arrive drunk or under the influence. If you go to your local baker or butcher, you're not expecting them to be drunk or under the influence. And in most cases, it is definitely not okay to drink on the job. Now, of course, I understand that DJing and MCing is a little bit different. It's part of nightlife. Alcohol is also a big part of nightlife for a lot of people. So I understand. So if you're one of those guys or girls who really gets into the party mood when they have a drink or two, I personally don't, but a lot of people do, then I'm not going to judge you for having a drink or two before you get on stage or before you step into the DJ booth. But I personally would not do anything that could change my my state of being, or whatever you want to call it, before I have to work. I want to make sure that I'm 100% there. And drinking alcohol is going to jeopardize that for me. So if you know how you react to alcohol and you know you get into your flow when you have a drink, have a drink. That's up to you. But I would never risk not being able to perform at my best by consuming alcohol or smoking weed or anything of the sort. But for some people it works. But I've seen too many instances where I've seen artists on stage that got too drunk or smoked too much and they were not able to perform. And people paid money to come see you perform. Same way people pay money to go into a club, even if they're not there specifically for you, the DJ, but they paid money to go into a club and they're expecting to have nice service and a professional DJ providing music. And I've seen DJs that got just so drunk that they were not performing the way they should be performing, because they were like missing buttons and wobbling in the DJ booth. Now, of course, that's not professional at all, and I would not condone that in any shape, form, or fashion. So I don't drink. I drink maybe one small glass a year. I just don't feel like drinking. I've done it when I was younger, but I just don't have the feeling ever that I'm like, oh, I really want to have a drink, especially not when it comes to partying. I do not need alcohol to get in a mood. The music gets me in that mood. But if you're going to do that, you really have to be conscious enough to know what works for you and just don't do it too much. So I guess that's my opinion when it comes to drinking on the job as a DJ. All right, let's go to Twitter for a minute. I have a question from DJ Wink Wonder, and the question is, how do you deal with hecklers? The person that comes up and says what you're playing is good, but switch it up. Drop some fire, play a banger. And when you don't oblige, now in their eyes, you're whack DJ. Mind you, it's still early. It's like only 10:20, and the party's from 10 to 2. So any suggestions beside totally ignoring them? Sure, I've been in that position. People that are just too hype or just don't care about their surroundings. They only care about what they feel, want, and think. And they will come up to you when the club is still empty and they're requesting bangers. Okay, I understand that they're hype and they just got into the club and they want to hear their favorite song, so they request it. In my case, I just always tell them straight up, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to play that, but I'm not going to play it now because I'm waiting for the room to fill up. Right now, I'm just warming up. Now, if that reply is not to their satisfaction, that's going to be their problem, and the conversation will end right there. Because I'm working. I don't want to be disturbed while I'm working. So I'll take that request. I give you the honest answer, because a lot of times they ask for bangers that I will be playing later on. But right now, I'm not playing it because it's too early. I'm waiting for the club to fill up, and then I'm gonna play all that stuff for you. And a lot of times people will definitely respect that answer, especially if I tell them that I'm definitely gonna play that. I'm gonna play that for you, but not now. So you're gonna have to be patient. Some will accept, some won't. If they don't accept it, now it's their problem. If they keep bothering me, I'll have to get someone to take them away from the booth, or I'll start ignoring them. But in the first case, I don't just want to ignore them. I want to treat them with a little bit of respect and engage in that conversation, but it's going to be a short conversation. Now, I saw a great question on Instagram I want to talk about from Baseballer Zach14. So I've had a couple of party gigs in the last month or so, and I've gotten lots of compliments, which motivates me to keep going. But when I'm mixing songs, I find that I choose a song rather quickly. So quick that I feel like I'm kind of just standing there waiting for the part of the old track I want to mix the new track into. What type of things should I be doing after choosing my song, and what ways can I manipulate the current song so I can have fun with it and not just playing a track? Now, I'm so happy when it comes to this question because this relates to a video I did last year called Be Creative. I'm gonna link that because this is what's happening with a lot of DJs. Especially with the technology that we have nowadays, making a transition is definitely not the hard part of DJing. You have to make sure that the records are playing in sync, and you can do that by beat matching by ear or by using the sync function. But once you've accomplished that, you're ready for your transition, and all you have to do is wait for the part where you're gonna make your actual transition. A lot of times, if you select songs quickly, or if you look at a lot of these big DJs who are using playlists, they have the next song ready. It's all lined up already. So they have tons of time. And what do they do with their time? This was the thing that was kind of annoying me. They're not using the time to express the art of DJing by having fun with the decks and doing all the stuff you can do. They're using all that free time just to stand on tables, God pose, heart sign, waving. Now, of course, you can interact with your crowd and do that sometimes, but that's all they're doing with that time. Or because they feel the same thing you're feeling, like I have to wait for the next track, they start to fake twist the knobs to at least act as if they're doing something instead of really doing something. Now, not all DJs, some DJs, but what bothered me is that some of the biggest DJs, the ones that can set an example for a total new generation, are not really showing what you can do when they have all that free time. So I love the fact that you understand, like, hey, I'm just standing around and waiting right now for my transition. And you feel that you should do more. And yes, I feel you should do more too, and you can have tons of fun doing that. Now, what can you do? You can do a lot of different things, and I should make a video to show you because I can talk about it, and I will talk about it, but seeing it is something else, of course. In my case, I'm a DJ and turntablist, so I love to incorporate a little turntablism at those moments. So in my case, I might not load in the next track yet, but I'll keep that old track and I'll have it in both decks so I can do some nice double tricks with it. So I can do some chase patterns and funky stuff like that. I'll have to show you. But that's one option for me. I can do that for a while before I actually select the next song and sync it up and get it ready because you have that time. Other times I might use that time to do some scratching because I have time. So it depends. You could also use the effects on your mixer because you have a lot of nice effects you can use. You can do something with filters. You can do something with samples. You can either, if you were using 4 channels, bring in an acapella. It all depends on the type of music you're playing as well. But there is a lot you can do, and I would say for now, experiment. Try things. See what sounds good to you and what doesn't sound good. But the fact that you realize that you have time to be creative, that's the thing that's important. So use that time, start experimenting, and I will do a video where I can show you just a couple of things that I do, but it's going to be different for a lot of different DJs playing different genres. They might do different things. Now, that's going to be my question of the day, and this might be a little bit harder because it's not always easy to say it in words, but the question of the day is, what do you do with the free time? That's what I'm going to call it right now. What do you do with the free time you have between transitions? So you've selected the track that you're going to mix into the track that's playing, you've synced it up, It's ready to go, but you have at least like 16 bars or longer before you can start your transition. What do you do with the free time between transitions? Let me know in the comment section down below. Join the conversation, share that knowledge, because you might have a suggestion that can help another DJ out and be like, okay, I'm going to try that next time I'm playing. So, great question. Now, I have another question here, and I'm not really the person to answer this question, but I know I have people that are watching right now that have a lot more knowledge when it comes to this subject. So, I want those people to be the ones to help out. And let me just read the question first. Now, the question is, are there some business aspects about DJing that I should know? This mostly pertains to mobile DJing. I heard that you have to become an LCC or sole proprietor, and basically you have to become a legitimate company. I've also heard that insurance is generally a must. I'm just wondering if you might have more information on this kind of stuff. Is there a huge business side to DJing as well, especially for mobile DJing? I've heard it's more business than DJing, but I think mobile is the path I want to go, especially at first. Also, do you think it's acceptable for me to walk up to a DJ, talk to him, ask him questions, and even request to be an apprentice? As in, he teaches me the ropes of the scene, lets me help out a bit, maybe DJ in place for him a bit, and once I'm ready, he lets me go. I wouldn't demand pay for this, as that's ridiculous. I do it for the fun and experience as well as putting my name out there at the same time. My question is if this is a good tactic and if it's acceptable in the DJ world. I don't want to be that one guy that awkwardly goes up to a DJ and seems desperate. So this is a two-part question, and the first part of this question is for the mobile DJs out there watching. Now, I know this is going to be a little bit different in different countries. I'm assuming this is a question from the US, but there's definitely a business side when it comes to DJing, and for mobile DJs, there's more business than for club DJs. I understand that too. I know for a fact that insurance is definitely a must because you're bringing a lot of your own equipment to a certain location, and it's not just for damages, it's also for liability because something can happen and people can trip over your equipment and they could blame you. And especially in the US, there's more of a culture of people being sued, a lot more than over here at least. So I know that's important. And there's always a business side to DJing when it comes to taxes and stuff like that as well. But for mobile DJing, I do believe that there's a lot more that you have to look into. And for all my mobile DJs out there, I need your help on this one, and I'm gonna make sure that this person is gonna give you some more info in the comment section down below just to let you know where he's from, because that's gonna be important if it is the US or if it's somewhere else, because sometimes you also need certain licenses, and that's gonna be different in the US or UK or wherever you're from. And if you guys have that info, please help him out, because I know there's a lot of mobile DJs out there. Now, when it comes to that second question, I'm going to elaborate just a little bit. I wouldn't see it as you being desperate or awkward. And I've actually received requests like the one you're talking about from people who approach me online to ask if they can be my apprentice. And they want to fly out to Amsterdam and just follow me, and they want me to be their mentor and stuff like that. I don't think it's really normal in the DJ world. But for me personally, I would not accept a request like that because I'm not looking for someone to be around me all the time. So for me, that wouldn't work. And for most pro DJs who are just busy, I don't think that they would want someone around them all the time. So maybe you could find some DJs who would say, hey, cool, you can come to a couple of gigs with me, watch me play, but I don't think it's gonna go way beyond that. Your best bet probably would be to find a DJ who's been a pro for years and who's not that active right now, who would be able to maybe spend a couple of afternoons just to answer all your questions and stuff like that. And you're also talking about filling in during gigs. That's not going to work. If someone booked me to play a gig and I bring you and I let you play half my set, the promoter's not going to be happy because they paid to have a certain DJ do a set, not to have someone else do half their set. So that wouldn't really work. So I don't think you're going to be able to really be someone's apprentice, but you could definitely look for DJs who would be able to just give you some tips and tricks. You found one right here online. So I think that's your best bet. Guys, I'm going to stop right there. That's all for now. This is episode 11 of Share the Knowledge. If you want to ask questions for the next episode, check me out on Snapchat, Twitter, or Instagram, djTLM, at the hashtag Share the Knowledge, and ask me anything. If you're checking the video and you want the audio version for when you're walking down the street, driving in your car, doing your workouts or whatever, you can check out the podcast on soundcloud.com/djTLM or go to iTunes. And once again, the question of the day, what do you do with the free time that you have between transitions when you're playing? That's it for now, guys. See you next time. Peace.